Hi, this is Sean Carney, the president of 40 Days for Life. I hope you have found your local vigil. This is the largest campaign we've ever had, 588 cities. You can go to 40daysforlife.com/location and find your closest city to peacefully pray. I am right now in front of our local vigil in Houston, which is outside the largest abortion facility in the Western Hemisphere, the 78,000 square foot Planned Parenthood abortion facility just behind me. Today on the video blog, I want to cover something that's going to come up a lot. It's already come up, especially with the vacancy on the Supreme Court and the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett, who seems to look like the judicial version of Mother Teresa. But there's a question coming up, and it happens every political season, and it's the accusation of pro-lifers to pro-lifers that if you believe in life in the womb, if you accept science that life does begin at conception and therefore must be protected, then you're against all children who are already born, and you want them to live in poverty and never get an education, and you want them to die in the streets. This is often an accusation. I guess we're just so divided. You can't be for something without being against something else. But this is a ridiculous argument that I think often gets too much credibility, and sometimes we're defensive, like, no, we care about living children too, which is assumed when you're pro-life. It only has to be argued for if you support abortion, because it is completely inconsistent to say that we can dehumanize children in the womb to protect quality of life. That's always the argument, that we need abortion to eliminate poverty. We need abortion to eliminate suffering. We need abortion to eliminate a disease, home and abroad. And this is a very dangerous mentality that when it goes into any nation or government, it always leads to the destruction of innocent human life. That quality of life dictates everything, and we need abortion because the fewer children that exist in the world, the better lives that they'll have. And Flannery O'Connor really summed this up in a very direct way, where she said, in the absence of faith, you will govern by tenderness, and tenderness leads to the gas chambers. And that is the mentality, whether it's intentional or not, that we will alleviate suffering and will eliminate poverty by having abortion and killing a certain segment of our population. It's absolutely inconsistent to say that we can kill unborn children, and then all of a sudden something happens moments after birth that now we will protect that child and we will be the most compassionate and sincere people on earth. That's just not consistent. You will always look down on children if you dehumanize them in the womb. That's why we've seen the push the last 2 years in the United States for infanticide. That's why we see a condescending tone towards people that have children, or have children early in life, or have children late in life, or have a lot of kids. There's always sort of a condescending response from those who advocate for abortion for children in general. And so they're the ones that have to defend that. How can you say we can just discard and in a barbaric fashion snuff out an 8-month-old baby in the womb, or a 6-week-old baby in the womb, or a 22-week-old baby in the womb, a baby old enough we could do surgery on them in utero? We can snuff them out, but somehow I'm supposed to believe you that you care about poor first graders. It's completely inconsistent, and what is consistent is protecting life from conception. And that's why we see the beautiful heart of the pro-life movement. We see children adopted. We have 40 Days for Life leaders that are the godparents of babies that were saved on the sidewalks. We have 40 Days for Life leaders that have adopted some children who have been saved from abortion. But more importantly, we see those moms who want to keep their babies get so much support, not just from the pregnancy resource centers across the country, where they now outnumber abortion providers 5-1. You can often see a doctor for free. You will not see a doctor at this building or any other Planned Parenthood in the country unless you're having an abortion. And so that is caring for the born children. That is truly helping the mother and helping all children that are alive. We see missionaries go around the world. So it's such a ridiculous argument and accusation that we often get. It's usually during political season, so that's probably why it comes up a lot, but it will be on full display in the next coming weeks with the nomination of Amy Coney Barrett in the onslaught that she's already receiving. Amy Coney Barrett, they should be applauding. All feminists should be applauding, but they're not. And the reason is because of what I just said. She has 7 children, so they think she's a weirdo at best. But 2 of those children are adopted from Haiti. And on paper, obviously that's caring for children that are alive. She opened her home and her heart to 2 children to give them a better life. And she's already been accused of being a white colonizer, whatever that is, just because she adopted children from Haiti. But when Madonna does it, it's heroic and she's a saint. But when Amy Coney Barrett does it, she's some sort of a racist deep down. And so it's absolutely ridiculous. And it highlights this point that you cannot all of a sudden, flip a switch where you have no use for the unborn. They're a choice. We'll have a baby shower and celebrate, or you can go to a facility like the one behind me and snuff them out of existence, and it's your right and your will to do so. And then all of a sudden, if somebody has a 3rd grader, you're the most compassionate person in the world, and the people who, want to protect unborn life, they don't care about your kids at all. It's absolutely ridiculous, and Amy Barrett represents that. She's pro-life, she's a practicing Catholic who takes her faith seriously, and she's in word and deed. She's opened her home up, not only through her own children, her biological children, of having 5 kids, which is a tremendous sacrifice, but then opening her home to adopt 2 children. And it highlights something that I think we've seen with not just feminism being hijacked, but the radical abortion movement, that abortion is their sacrament. And it doesn't matter if you run around and you adopt every child in the world, and you feed them and you clothe them and you give them a great education. If you do not endorse their sacrament of abortion, you're a racist and you're a bigot and you don't care about born children. It doesn't matter what you do. And that's why our response is to come out and to pray. Not only for our nation, no matter what country you're in right now participating in 40 Days for Life, but for a conversion of the coldness of heart that is required to have this mentality, where you just accuse people of not caring about children because they care about children. And so that's why we pray, that's why we fast, and that's why when you participate in a 40 Days for Life campaign, you will notice there are people out here praying before, during, and after the abortion, and before, during, and after the mother chooses life, if she does so. And that is where 40 Days for Life volunteers shine, as we go to work for those women, for those moms, whatever they need. There are endless stories, and we send them out daily in the 40 Days for Life emails of pro-life volunteers sacrificing and helping those children that are coming into the world, because they all have dignity and they should not be judged based on the circumstances of their conception. And so don't allow those ridiculous arguments to put you on the defensive. They have to argue for why in the world they should care about any children in the world if they don't care about them from the moment that they are formed in the womb. And so rejecting science and dehumanizing an entire segment of our population has not led to good things throughout world history. And so be consistent and be sure that you are praying, you are fasting, and you are showing up. If you have not already, we have seen record turnouts. It's just been awesome, this campaign. It's been awesome, and the media coverage has been awesome. But go to 40daysforlife.com, find one of the 588 cities closest to you, and participate in this massive campaign. Pray for our nation, pray for all countries participating in 40 Days for Life, and be sure to sign up at 40daysforlife.com to be part of the beginning of the end of abortion.